This week in comic books, Refrigerator Full of Heads came out. And man, what a sequel. This makes sense. And we're going to pick it right up where we left off. And we're just going to ride that pony to the bank. And it's actually pretty good. Over in the land of Marvel, somebody explain to me why even bother killing Doctor Strange if you're just going to bring a past one of them into existence now and just make everything awkward with his interactions with everybody because he doesn't really know what's going on. Yeah, that's how it reads, as complicated as that was. Over in the land of independence, two really cool books I was able to pick up, and I like them. Like, we kind of deal with the whole humans being cops over demons thing, and then like scary Chulu stuff, and very realistic Baltimore. Because if you haven't seen Baltimore at night, it's creepy as all get out. All that, more comic books, plus everything coming up this week, and a special reveal. So you definitely want to hang around at least until after the intro. Roll it. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? Super happy that you're here. I'm Pocan Joe, and I wrote a bunch of comic books this week, and I want to regurgitate what I saw in them. So without further ado, let's jump right into it with DC this week and Batman versus Big B. This is good. Like, I can't believe out of all the Batman books that are out there, this one's not getting the hype as all the other ones are because something's looking like Batman out there. Talk about imposter. All right, because like we got a werewolf, it's Halloween time, it makes sense. Somebody's faking murders and making it look like it's the werewolf, right? So, right, setting that up. Werewolf figures out that Bruce Wayne's Batman because, you know, the nose never lies and he's got like enhanced smelling abilities even when he's human. Really cool stuff. Love the artwork in it. So yeah, this is definitely high up there in my list of books this week. Moving on to Shazam 404. Could have done without this whole story. Like, even though they kind of sort of featured something in Future State and it kind of sort of predicts the future in here. Basically, future Black Adam and Shazam have to protect the Rock of Eternity and keep all the seven deadly sins at bay and yada 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 yada, right? The stuff you remember from the movie vaguely, right? Only they're in hell to do it. Whatever. That's just a narrative. So they can make up woo-woo stuff if they need to. But all in all, this story is really about the character Dean, right? He's like the son of Satan, the spawn of Satan himself, right? And trapped in a kid's body, still trying to figure out life, right? So it was okay. I'll give it that. Suicide Squad's good. So we got some more Impossible book, and I know everybody's burnt out from, you know, people breaking the fourth wall. You know, Deadpool's pretty much beaten that to the point where it will never live again. But remember, our guy here, Impossible Bug, right? He did it first, right? Like, he did it first, and he kind of does it better. I'm not hating on Deadpool, but it is what it is. So our team's in hell. Some people die, but then we found out that we can resurrect the dead because comic book woo-woo. All right, I'll accept this. New team shows up in here as well. We have another Suicide Squad, if you will, and they want this Peacemaker that kind of escaped Wallard's control to be part of that. And ta-da, Red Flag's not dead because that's who's actually leading it. And they got one of those stupid parademon things. This thing's got more suicide teams in it than anything else. Like, there's the Hell team. Major Force pops in here to drop some bodies. He's a member of like, everybody is Suicide Squad now. It's getting a little too. It's kind of like the Bat Family, right? A little too much. Like, okay. Moving on, Legends of the Dark Knight. This was good, and this is a lot deeper than I think a lot of people are going to give it. So, Solomon Grundy, right? If you don't know, he was a past mobster, yet he went by a different name, the whole 9 yards, right? Well, his soul's kind of still trapped in Solomon Grundy here, and the hate and rage that kind of burns through him. Solomon Grundy's acting this stuff out, and they play this whole thing with mirrors. You know, he looks in the mirror, he sees the old gangster guy, and Batman's like, yeah, throwing you in Arkham, you're not going to really be able to deal with these. Which I disagree with, because Arkham is literally built to deal with this kind of stuff. But whatever, you know, I'm not going to argue it with them because, you know, you want to kind of push the story. but also, it was a great way to kind of have to deal with yourself and past anger and hate, things like that. You got to deal with that stuff. You can't just let it out there. And then there was a secondary story with Killer Croc and Batman in this, and city floods, people try to steal stuff. Killer Croc helps. That was pretty much it on that one. All right, Batman Fear State, right? I don't know, man. And this is going to sound horrible, but I really just don't like this Molly Miracle character. I don't get her. I don't get her point. I know she's like the tech guru girl, right? And science, I get it, but it's annoying. Like everything she says is like this little tongue-to-cheek insult, way of communicating. I don't deal with people that do that on a regular basis. Like the moment you get snarky or want your aha moment with me, I just turn around and walk off. Right? And this almost makes me want to do it in this book. Peacemaker also he'll just sign up with anybody that gives him a compliment, like Peacemaker 01, because now he's like with Scarecrow, the guy that drugged him with fear gas, and he's like, Scarecrow's all like, you could be the better hero. Same thing Simon Saint said. Like everybody keeps, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll follow you. And I'm just like, how much self-adulation does one person need before they need to make a stand? All right, refrigerator full of heads. Not my pick of the week because it's just launching off the story, but I love the ingenious way that they launched this off, picking right up from, now we have another mystical weapon from Nordic times. It's a dagger. Basically, if you get stabbed with it, what it ultimately does is paralyzes you, right? The axe is still in play. It was in the bottom of the lake. Some crazy shark floating around everywhere. Biker's got a problem with Preppy Boy. Super ultra strong girlfriend, has got it all figured out. She's there to write a book. What is it with stories lately and artists having to go rent a place and stay there for a week? Like I knew Stephen King did it. Like it was that was something that he had done, but like that's not real life. But whatever. Anyway, this is a good story. I've been enjoying this. I just hope it doesn't get to the point where it wants to teach us a lesson, because it all takes place in the 80s. It was already learned then. Sorry about your luck. All right, moving into Marvel. We got Thor back. This arc of the story is going to be silly because it's basically super pets, right? You got Frog Thor, Lockjaw, that stupid dragon, Lockheed, and Bats, the dog from Doctor Strange, right? They got to go find Mjolnir. It's a spy mission. Not really, but that's what they're going to call it. And the animals are going to go find, Mjolnir because it's been stolen, right? So where's it at? That's their job to figure it out. That's my food, by the way. Just ignore that because I've already tried to do this 4 times now. So we're just going to roll through that. I apologize. But yeah, all in all, it's funsies, right? It's just funsies. That's all it is. Moving on, Fantastic Four. Oh, this is heart-wrenching. So the kids, like most kids, the adopted children of Thing and his wife, right? And they're warriors, so everything's strategic in their head, everything's battle-ridden, right? Well, it's Halloween time, and they come up with a strategic plan of changing costumes, finding different routes to maximize their amount of candy that they can possibly get from every single house. Apparently, it turns out about 12 times for each house. It's a little much, but whatever. And Grimm's like, yeah, nah, you kids are jacked up, right? This isn't right. So what you're going to do is you're going to get dressed up. I don't know why they got dressed up. That didn't make any sense, but like legit suit and tie, nice outfits. And made them go around and give the candy back to the people with a heartfelt apology. It was good. And then, the Profiteer comes back and wants the kids back, right? Because them fighting was like a huge amount of money for her. Of course, all that's lost. So she tries to get him back, and the fight starts, and the kid, legitimately, the boy kid, loses his shit and starts hacking and dicing everybody when they took his adopted sister, right? And Grimm and the Fantastic Four are just like, no, we don't kill. We don't kill. This is wrong, blah, blah, blah. And the kid's like, so you're going to send me to another unit, right? Because he's still military thinking. And it was just heartbreaking the way they explained to him that that's not how a family works. And I was like, oh, you went from silliness, some comic book action, to kapow, right in the feelings. That was sad. So yeah, I'm liking this, and I like where this is going. Yeah, I can dig Thing having a family and all that's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. All right, so Doctor Strange is dead, but guess what? Not really. He took a piece of himself from the past and locked it away, so it's like a week to him. So he doesn't know anything modern that's going on, like he's been married or any of that other stuff. And we get the mothers that show up, which are super creepy. First appearances. This is a good picture of them right there. Right? And apparently they have a son that needs to feed, so their whole thing is causing death and chaos and the magical realms. And I'm kind of on board with that part of it, but it's annoying this not captain, but Doctor Strange not knowing, finer details that kind of get forced into the story that don't really fit, right? That it's like, oh, you just took away from that. That's kind of, right? So for the most part, it's an all right book. I want to definitely know more about these mothers, what their deal is, what their kid is, because apparently this is a huge thing. All right, moving on. Captain America. So I got it. And the end of this one, everybody's Captain America. They did this with He-Man, right? Where everybody's He-Man, everybody has the power, blah, 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 right? But at the ending here, I did like the ending to this. I didn't like the story. I thought it was kind of dry, mundane, and lackadaisical how everything was kind of connected to it. But I did like the very end here where Steve Rogers is kind of telling a kid that, yeah, being brave and all this. Like, he kind of explains it to the kid in a motivational way, which is, like Steve Rogers' thing, right? I, on the other hand, am one of those people that believe not everybody could be Captain America. And thank God. That way you always have something to strive to be. But apparently I'm wrong. Like, every Captain America. They had a Captain America in there in a business suit. Like, business Captain America guy. And I'm like, really, player? Like, okay, whatever. Just leave it alone. All right, moving on. Helicop. We've seen this kind of story before, but I think this one kind of takes it in a more interesting direction. Basically, humans are policing, like demons on Earth type of thing, and bigger things happening. Like you've seen this kind of like, what was it? R.I.P.D., right? It's kind of like that. I do like the dialogue in this. The guy's not as strong as the female, so what? He's kind of nerdy. Okay, got it. But I like the artwork in here. I like the various characters. Everybody has a different personality, and it reads very well. So for the most part, I liked this story. It was all right. Last but not least, Nightmare Blog. This thing's creepy. Like, the artwork's creepy in it, the story's creepy in it, the little bit of realism that gets shoved into it, and the artwork and the depiction of the monsters. Like, something that always creeps me out in, like, horror movies and stuff is when something's allowed to climb and it can turn its head around and look backward like this. Right? Like, that's just... I don't know why that bothers me, but it's like, oh. I don't like it. All right, real quick, what's going down? What's shaking? I am leaving for Baltimore Comic Con Saturday morning, super early. We're gonna shoot on up there, and we're gonna walk the con, and also put some little something's coming to the evil lair. Let's just put it that way. Some fun. We're gonna have some fun with it. Also, our Blast It and Stash It variant cover has come out. Oh, Austin LeMay, thank you again for your hard work and just working with me on this. I know I don't explain things very well. I'm used to just doing things, but I could not do this. And you sure did, no doubt. The Delta Dog guys are going to be at Baltimore Comic Con as well. If you're going to Baltimore Comic Con, hey, go by there. Take a look. They're going to be selling some of these. You can pick one of these up there, along with other issues that they have there, some prints, stuff like that. They're a great group of guys. I really like that whole creative team there. They're super smart. What else? Evil Lair projects. If you don't know, I had to take all my Evil Lair projects from here and move them over to only their only channel, their self-standing channel. Because apparently YouTube can't tell the difference that this face runs both of those. But that's where we're at now with all of our technology. You couldn't figure that out. Whatever. So all my Evil Air projects are going to be over there and just over there. So, we got a prosthetic finger coming out. We got some shenanigans at Baltimore Comic Con coming out. So definitely, if that's your thing, we're still trying to keep everything comic book themed and kind of have fun with it, or comic book community themed. So, if so inclined, you can definitely go over there and check that out. It should be fun. And then C2E2 is coming. I'm going to start talking about it now because I'm excited. C2E2 is going to be a blast. We're going to be in Chicago. Going to meet up with some YouTubers and some comic book creators, comic book dealers. It's going to be a fun, great time. I've been before, and I had a blast then too. So, hey, if you're going to Baltimore Comic Con or if you're going to C2E2, let me know in the comments down below or hit me up on Instagram. Love to run into you, have a beer, chit chat about comic books. Maybe you can just tell me how my review of your favorite comic book was absolutely unfounded and wrong. I'll take that. Okay, it's all subjective. All right, guys, I got nothing else. I got to head out of here because that was the DoorDash thing that you kept hearing ringing. So my food's probably getting cold on the front porch. So yeah, I got to get out of here. All right, guys. See y'all soon. Bye.